Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So the making of today's video is July 9th of 2023, and today I'm going to show you how to make this asymmetrical shawl here. Now mine is not fully complete. You make yours as big as you want. To make an average size shawl though, you're going to need about 1,000 yards of yarn. Now you can use a 1 weight, 2 weight, 3 weight, 4 weight. It is completely up to you. But it's been a very easy 2-row repeat. So I will talk about the yarn that I used in case you're interested. But remember, any yarn will be just fine. So the asymmetrical sets like this, straight at the top. And you can see the lines go at the angle there. All right, let's go ahead and I'll tell you about the yarn that I use. So you got this. It's very easy to do. So the yarn that you see in that particular shawl that I use is a hand-dyed yarn from the Yarn Snob Yarn Company. It is a gradient cake, and the color Love is Love. It's a 100% superwash merino. Now it's classified as a medium weight number 4, but I would recommend classifying it as a 3-weight yarn. And that's what I hook sized for, was a 3-weight. So like I said, about 1,000 yards. It's going to make you about an average size shawl. You can make it, of course, as big as small as you want. Now for the yarn that I use, which I do consider a 3-weight, I used an I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now if you're using a different weight yarn than I am, I would use whatever yarn, whatever it recommends on your yarn label, a hook size bigger. That way you have a nice drape. So if your yarn, the yarn that you chose to use recommends like a 4 millimeter, use a 5 or a 5.5 because that's going to give a nicer drape, something, okay? So why don't we go ahead and begin? Like I said, it's a very, very easy 2-row repeat. And we're going to go ahead and start with a slip knot on our hook. Now I'm using a different yarn. I'm just using some scrap yarn that I have here to show you how to do this. So remember, this is asymmetrical, so it's going to start at the corner. It's going to be flat on one side and it's going to grow on the other. So the other side, one side stays flat, the other side will grow at an angle. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. You got your slip knot on your hook, and we're going to go ahead and start off with a chain of 4. Just like that. Now we're going to be working into that very first chain. We're going to yarn over and we're going to put a double crochet into that first chain. Double crochet. Just like that. And we're going to chain 2. And we're going to go back into that same first chain and we're going to work 2 more double crochets into that same spot. It's a little tight, but that's okay. So there's 1. It always gets tight there. This is once you get past this is I'm making it look harder than what it is. It's not hard at all. It just gets tight. All right, there's 2. So you got, in that spot, you did the chain 4, and then in the very first chain you did a double, chain 2 and 2 doubles. Now we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work 1 triple crochet back into the same spot one more time. So this is a triple. So we chained 1, yarn over twice for the triple, go back into the very same spot, and then triple crochet, and that will be, then you can pull your tail out, tighten that up at the bottom, and there we go. So that's row 1. So that chain right there is counting as a double crochet. So it's kind of like we got 2 doubles, a chain 2, 2 doubles, a chain 1, and a triple. All right, so let's go ahead and start row 2. Row 2, we are going to start by chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to turn our work. Now we're going to work right back here into this chain 1 space, and we're going to work a double crochet right through there. Just like that. And then in the chain 2 space right here, we are going to work a V stitch. So the V stitch for this particular pattern is a double crochet, a chain of 2, and then another double crochet into the same spot, just like that. So that is the V stitch for this particular pattern. Double, chain 2, double, and that will end row 2. You don't do anything now. Now what we're going to do, we're not going to chain 1, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to turn our work like this, and we're just going to slip stitch into this first chain 2 space. Like that. Excuse me. Now we're going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as anything. So now we're in this chain 2 space right here. Now we're going to do a double V stitch. So this is what the double V stitch consists of. In the chain space here, we're going to work 2 doubles. There's 1 and 2, and then we're going to chain 2 and go back into the same space and work 2 more doubles. So that is the double V stitch for this particular pattern. So this pattern consists of just a regular V stitch right here and then the double V stitch. Okay, now we're going to come over here to this chain space here at the end. It's actually that chain 5 that we did. We're going to work a double V stitch into this chain space. So we're going to go right through the space and work 2 doubles. There's 2 doubles, chain 2, and then 2 more doubles, 1 and 2. So that is the double V stitch. Now we're going to end by doing a chain 1, and then we're going to do a triple crochet into the 3rd chain of this chain 5. And sometimes you got to slide it over to find it. So 1, 2, 3. Remember, make sure you chain 1 after that, and then we're going to do a triple. So yarn over twice, and in that 3rd chain of the chain 5, we triple crochet. Just like that. And that will end row 3. So rows 4 and 5 are going to be the repeat rows, and it's very similar to the 2 rows that we just did. Okay? So as you can see, it starts to grow on one end, and one end will stay. It'll be more visible the more rows you get. So we're going to go ahead and start again with row 4. Now remember, row 4 and 5 are the repeat rows. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we are going to turn our work. And right back here into this chain 1 space, we're going to put 1 double crochet. Like that. And then in the chain 2 spaces of the V stitches from the previous row, the double V stitches, we're going to put regular V stitches. So we're going to go into the chain space and we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet, and then you go to the next chain 2 space of the double V stitch from the previous row and you work a V stitch in it, double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet, and you would keep repeating that until you made it to the end. And you can see I'm at the end right now, and that would end the row. You don't do anything else now. That completes row 4. It's the regular V-stitch row. Now what we're going to do is, don't chain 1 or anything. We're going to turn our work for row 5 and slip stitch into this first chain 2 space like that. Chain 1 and begin row 5 by putting a double V-stitch into the V-stitch chain spaces from the previous row. So we go right into this first one and we work 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles like that, and then we jump to the next V-stitch from the previous row and work a double V-stitch. So 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Now this is how you always end the double V-stitch row. In order for it to keep increasing, you got to put a double V-stitch here in this space here where that chain 5 was. In between the chain 5 and the double crochet from the previous row, we work a double V-stitch into that space. So 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles, just like that. And then we're going to make sure you chain 1, slide that over, and we're going to triple crochet in the 3rd chain of that chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, and that will end row 5. So now we just keep repeating rows 4 and 5. So the next row will be a repeat of row 4, and that's where we do the single V-stitch row. So I'm going to repeat row 4 by chaining 5 and turning my work and putting a double crochet right back here into this chain space like that. And then I'm going to put a regular V-stitch in each one of these chain 2 spaces of the double V-stitch from the previous row. So the regular V-stitch is just a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and we do that in each of the chain 2 spaces all the way across. Remember, I'm just repeating row 4 right now till I get to the end. Got one more here. And that ends the repeat of row 4. Now we're going to repeat row 5. Don't chain 1, just turn and slip stitch into this chain 2 space. And we'll start our repeat of row 5, chain 1, and we do the double V-stitch in each of the V-stitches from the previous row. So I'm going to do this all the way across the double V-stitches, which is 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. And you want to do that in each of the chain 2 spaces. Remember, I'm just repeating rows 4 and 5. Right now I'm just doing a row 5 repeat. And remember, every time you repeat row 5, you have to add that V-stitch here on the end between the chain 5 and the double crochet on the previous row. So make sure you put a double V-stitch into this spot. And that is how it gets larger. 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles is our double V-stitch. And then we end our row 5 or repeat by chaining 1 and triple crocheting into the 3rd chain of our chain 5. Now you just keep repeating rows 4 and 5 until you get to your desired length. And as you can see, the more rows that you get, the wider it becomes. So it starts to stay straight on one end and it gets wider on the other. So you do that for as long as you want, for as big as you want your shawl to be. All right, and then once you get that done, you can put a border on it if you want. I'll show you what I did. You don't have to do the same thing I did. I just ended on a row 5 repeat, the double V-stitch. So and then I just chained a 3 and turned my work, and then I jumped over here and I put 7 double crochets into the chain 2 space. So kind of like a shell border. 7 doubles there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I single crocheted into the next one, and then I repeated that 7 doubles and then single crochet into the next chain 2 space, 7 doubles into the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then single crochet into the next one, and you just repeat that. And when you get to the end, you'll end with a single crochet into your last one, and then what you do is you find your very first double crochet right here from the previous row and put 3 double crochets into that. 1, 2, and 3, and then you can tie off, and that will be it. Now you don't have to add that border on there if you don't want to. That's just something you can do. But after you get it as big as you want, you can put that border on, and this is what it looks like after a while. I think it's super pretty. I think that this would look pretty in any gradient yarn like this. I think it would look amazing in a solid, a striped. An ombre would look absolutely stunning as well. You know, any yarn that you choose, any weight would look amazing. A 1 weight, a 2 weight, a 3 weight, anything like that. And that is it. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you look below, you'll see a playlist with over 1,000 tutorials in it. They're all free for you to enjoy. So hit that subscribe button, that like button, and I'll see you on my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.